Okay, let's start. So, brothers and sisters, welcome to this evening's Dhamma sharing with the title, How to Cultivate Equanimity, or in Pali is called Upekkha. This is the last of the Buddhism and Psychology series. This will also be my last stop for the year. Yeah, so after this, I'll close shop and rest for December. Last stop under the Buddhism Psychology series, also my last stop for the year. This is my lovely mother. So I would like to dedicate this talk to my 74-year-old mom, wishing her safe, healthy, and happy. So our tonight's Dhamma sharing will be on the equanimity, EQ equanimity. So what is equanimity? Let's start with something very basic. Let's start from the online Oxford dictionary definition. So if you go online to the online Oxford dictionary, equanimity is defined as calmness and composure, especially in difficult situations. Okay, example of sentence is, she accepted both the good and the bad with equanimity. Yeah, so that is the basic definitions of equanimity: calmness, composure, especially in a difficult situation. The Pali word is called Upekkha. Okay, I'm sure some of you have attended talks on the 4 Brahma Viharas: Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekkha, friendliness, compassion, appreciative, joy, and equanimity. So equanimity is part of the 4 Brahma Viharas. Yeah. So some of you may have heard talk on equanimity as part of the 4 Brahma Viharas. So equanimity is one of the virtues that we need to cultivate if we want to learn to love and care happily. Yeah, which is basically the 4 Brahma Viharas. How to love and care happily. It's part of the 4 Brahma Viharas. The equanimity or upekkha is also part of the 10 paramis or the 10 perfections. So in Buddhism, there's a thing called the 10 paramis or 10 perfection, which basically are 10 virtues that we need to cultivate if we aspire to become a Buddha. So one thing good about Buddhism is all of us can become a Buddha if we aspire to become one. But in order to become a Buddha, we need to train. And one of the training virtue is again equanimity. Yeah. So if any of the participants here, you want to train to become a Buddha, we need to cultivate equanimity. Okay. For those of you who are not so ambitious, maybe you just want to be awakened, to be enlightened, but not to become a Buddha, a fully enlightened being, just want to be enlightened. Equanimity is also necessary because equanimity is also part of the 7 factors of enlightenment. Yeah, so it's something that we need to cultivate if you want to be enlightened. So it's part of the 4 Brahma Viharas. If you want to cultivate care, it's part of the 10 paramis. If you want to become a Buddha, it's part of the 7 factors of enlightenment. If you want to be awakened. This is a very interesting photo I took from Brickfields Mahavihara. Those of you who've been to Brickfields Mahavihara, you might be familiar with this. This is actually behind the International Buddhist Pagoda. It's a very nice photo to convey the essence of equanimity. By the way, I stayed very near to the Brickfields Temple. Yeah, so one of the mornings I was having my morning walk, I took this picture. Yeah. So my main message from this picture is equanimity is not just calm. Equanimity is not just calm. Equanimity is actually calm in chaos. Calm in chaos, you know. It's very easy to be calm when things go according to our plan, you know. Things go according to our plan. That is very easy. If things go according to plan, we get what we want, that's very easy to be calm. That is not the essence of equanimity. The deeper meaning of equanimity is calm in chaos, ability to be composed, ability to be still in chaos. When there are problems, when there are challenges, when there are difficulties, we're still able to remain calm. That's the essence of equanimity. That's a very nice picture, isn't it? See the Buddha in a very composed, very still, very calm way, despite, you see what happened? There was a storm the night before, so you see the plant got uprooted, but the Buddha was still sitting there very calm. A nice picture. Yeah, so when one of my ways to cultivate equanimity these days, I like this picture so much, I think of this picture behind the Brickfields Mahavihara that ultimately bring out the feeling of equanimity in me. Yeah? So equanimity is calm in chaos, not just calm when everything goes according to our plan. It's a very nice story to illustrate on equanimity. Yeah. In fact, one of my stories to cultivate equanimity. Tonight, I'll be sharing with you many methods that I use to cultivate equanimity. So in fact, just now already one method, you can visualize that nice photo behind Brickfields Mahavihara. This is another way through the story. There was this story about an army general who actually invaded a town. So he killed a lot of people. He was very cruel. He killed a lot of people in the town, and then he arrived at the temple. And when he arrived at the temple, there was a Zen monk. So the Zen monk was sitting there, very calm, very cool. Okay, and of course, everyone in the temple, they all fled. All were very scared. They all ran away. But there was this old Zen meditating monk was sitting there meditation, and the general went. The general walked towards the monk, and the general asked the monk, do you know who am I or not? So the general said, hey, old monk, do you know who am I? There was still no response, no response from the monk. Then the general said, I'm a person who can chop off your head. I can chop off your head even without blinking my eyes. So the general actually spoke in a very arrogant way. But this monk was very calm, very calm, very peaceful. He gently, gracefully opened his eyes, and he said in a very equanimous, very calm way to the general. He said, "Oh, general, do you know who am I? Okay, I am someone whom even if you chop off my head, I still won't blink my eyes." Wow, so cool, isn't it? Yeah, even if you chop off my head, I still won't blink my eyes. So that is even a higher level of equanimity. Who is more calm? General chop off the head, won't blink the eyes, or the monk will actually have his own head chop off and still won't blink the eyes. Of course, the level of equanimity of the Zen monk is much higher. So a nice story to remind us the power of equanimity. Remain calm, still, composed, even with challenges. Okay, just now I mentioned that equanimity is not just calm, it's calm amidst chaos, amidst challenges. I'd like to highlight equanimity also means calm with positive event. The Oxford Dictionary definition is quite a basic one. Calm amidst challenges and changes. Amidst a challenging situation. But equanimity also means calm in positive event. It also means calm when things go according to our plan. Okay, for example, these days we use a lot of social media in it. Okay, let's say in the social media, we post something in our Instagram, we post something in the YouTube or Facebook. Let's say we get a lot of likes. Equanimity will also mean remain calm and composed despite the praise, despite the light, instead of being carried away. Instead of being carried away with pride, with ego. Why is that important? Because we know very well. There are people who like us. There are also people who dislike us. Sometimes we get likes. Sometimes we also get dislikes. This one I'm just giving an example of one of the YouTube talks given by Ajahn Brahm. Ajahn Brahm recently gave a talk on it's okay to try. It's okay to cry. I have listened to the talk. It's a wonderful talk. So the interesting thing that captured my attention is there are people who like the talks. There are people also dislike talk. So equanimity means calm with positive event and negative event, both. When things go according to our plan, we are calm. When things don't go according to our plan, we are also calm. This is a picture of the lotus leaf with water. This is a very good simile to represent equanimity. Equanimity is like the lotus leaf that support water without being wet by the water. So this is a very good simile, a very good visualization to remind us on the virtue of equanimity. In fact, when we do our breathing meditation, when we can say, breathing in, I imagine myself as the lotus flower. You can do that as well. As we breathe in and breathe out, remind ourselves with this affirmation, breathing in, I imagine myself as the lotus flower or the lotus leaf. In this picture, it's a lotus leaf. You see the lotus leaf, it can support the water, but it's not wet by the water. Okay, a little bit of a question, a sort of quiz to help you to think and reflect. If I were to ask you, based on my explanation so far, if I have to ask you, what's the difference between a piece of rock? What's the difference between a piece of rock and a person who is equanimous? Something for you to reflect. Okay, the answer is a piece of rock seem to be very equanimous, inverted comma equanimous, but a piece of rock cannot act. But an equanimous person can act. So in this slide, I want to highlight equanimity involves acting calmly and wisely as well. So equanimity is not just a feeling. It is very easy to have this perception that equanimity is just a feeling, calm feeling. Well, it's a calm feeling, but I would like to highlight it involves action as well. So we can act equanimously, act calmly, and act wisely. Okay. Next, you have probably heard of the word resilience, emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is another term to me closely related to the teaching of equanimity. Emotional resilience. Emotional resilience means the ability to regain emotional balance. Of course, all of us are human beings. We are not the Buddha, we are not the Arahat. So on and off, our emotions go up and down. But most importantly, if you are resilient, a person who is resilient may not be calm all the time, but can easily regain the calmness. That's emotional resilience. It's like when you see these stones where you have the wind blowing, the stones will rock a bit, will move a bit, but it can regain the balance very easily. That is called emotional resilience. And to me, this concept of emotional resilience, which is usually mentioned in the psychology world, you rarely hear the word equanimity in the world of psychology. So I'm a psychiatrist. Okay, I learned psychology, but in Western psychology, you rarely hear the word equanimity. It's not a common term. It's not a common term, but the word emotional resilience is quite common. And to me, they are quite related. So equanimity is the ability to be calm despite the ups and downs of life, the vicissitudes of life. Emotional resilience is the ability to regain balance, to regain the calmness after the chaos. Okay. So based on my description of equanimity so far, I came up with this slide. We can classify human personalities based on the virtue of equanimity to 3 types. Okay, a person with low equanimity, middle level equanimity, and high level equanimity. Low EQua, mid EQua, and high EQua. Okay, so a person with low equanimity, will be easily stressed out. Very easy to get stressed, easily get stressed out, and a person has difficulty in regaining emotional balance. In other words, lack of emotional resilience. Okay, and this person usually unable to care or act calmly or wisely most of the time. That's low equanimity. Whereas a person with mid middle level equanimity, this person easily stressed out, but the good thing is that you can regain the emotional balance very quickly. Can get back the emotional balance, and this person is also able to care, act calmly, and wisely most of the time. Although easily stressed out, can gain emotional balance, able to act wisely, act calmly. Of course, the last category is the best one, the person with high level equanimity. How is a person with high level equanimity? This person, you will see that this person is very calm in most situations. Very calm in most situations. And even if the person is stressed out, occasionally gets stressed out, but can easily regain emotional balance. And most importantly, this person is able to care, act calmly, and wisely most of the time. So I leave it to you to reflect, to see which category you belong to most of the time. Okay? And the most importantly is actually equanimity can be cultivated. This is the whole idea of having this Dhamma sharing, is to let people know that we can upgrade our equanimity level, we can increase our EQ, it can be trained. So far, good? Okay, so lots of, so far, a lot of theory. Let's go to something more practical. I've given you the introduction so far on the meaning of equanimity, basically ability to be calm, composed, still, despite the ups and downs and the vicissitudes of life. Okay, now the most important part, how to cultivate equanimity, how to improve equanimity, how to increase our level of equanimity. This is the most important part. And tonight I'll be sharing with you the 8 ways that I apply in my life. And some of these comes from the world of psychology, some of these come from the Dhamma, and some comes from the integration of psychology and the Dhamma. Yeah. So to me, these 8 ways are like mood stabilizers. I'm a psychiatrist, So in my clinic, I besides doing psychotherapy, counseling, I also prescribe medicine to help patients to stabilize their mood. So there's a method, medicine called a mood stabilizer. So these 8 things that I'm going to share with you, they are something like mood stabilizer, but they are not the medication mood stabilizer. They're the emotional mood stabilizer. So in other words, if you were to ask me, doctor, is there any way I can stabilize my mood without using medication? These 8 methods can also be applied. Okay, good. Okay, so in total, there are 8 methods. Yeah, I'm going to go through quite fast. I won't go into detail. I prefer to allow more time and room for Q&A and discussion. Okay, so the first method of cultivating equanimity is to manage the 5 hindrances. Those of you who have been learning Buddhism for some time, you will see this word, the 5 hindrances, again and again in the Buddhist scriptures. Okay, and the 5 hindrances refer to ill will or anger, sense desire, restlessness and worry, doubt, sloth and torpor. And the Buddha actually described the 5 hindrances as the negative states of mind that disturb our peace of mind, especially in meditation. Okay, how to overcome these 5 hindrances? So the Buddha says, if you can overcome these 5 hindrances, to overcome this negative emotion, negative state of mind, then we can develop stillness, we can develop calmness, we can develop composure. In other words, equanimity. Yeah. So I won't be zooming into the 5 hindrances, because the good thing is all the other speakers, all the speakers before me, they have done a wonderful job to talk about the 5 hindrances. I'm not sure whether you notice actually the topics for this Buddhism and psychology series, they are based on the 5 hindrances and the 4 Brahma Viharas. Okay, for example, one of the hindrances is on ill will. Okay, you have a speaker who actually talk about how to overcome anger and jealousy. That was Sister Tang Nian. She talked about how to overcome anger and jealousy. That is basically how to overcome the hindrance of ill will and anger. You also have Sister Lao Mian, who talk about self-compassion, self-love, which is also an antidote of ill will and anger. Yeah. So In other words, if you want to learn how to overcome the 5 hindrances and have a still mind, a composed mind, a calm mind, all you need to do is look back all the notes. I think all the lectures they prepare notes, isn't it? You look at all the previous notes, replay some of the lectures. They have given you actually very, very good information, very good tips, practical ways to overcome the 5 hindrances. And overcoming the 5 hindrances leads to stillness, calmness, composure. In other words, equanimity. So the first method, overcome the 5 hindrances. Okay, that's the second method. The second way is to learn to manage stress with kindness. Okay. Kindness, some of you may be new to this term, kindness. Kindness is a term coined by Ajahn Brahm, which means mindfulness plus kindness. Mindfulness plus kindness equals kindness. Then 1 or 2 years ago, I gave a talk in BGF, okay, with the title Kindfulness for Stress Reduction. So in talk, I was sharing on how to use the principle of mindfulness and kindness to help us to reduce stress. And this is very important. It's important for us to take good care of ourselves. It's important for us to learn how to handle stress, because when we can handle stress, we are more resilient. That's why I mentioned the word more resilient. Resilient is able to bounce back. So handling stress is very important. So whatever I'm sharing with you tonight are everything which are very practical. I don't like to talk about things which are very abstract or very philosophical. I prefer to talk on things which are practical. So of course, tonight is not, I'm not running the workshop tonight, but I've given you the QR code. If you scan the QR code, then you get access to the entire series of talks that I've uploaded on YouTube. So there's a YouTube series of talk about seven episodes. So in total, about 2 hours, 7 episodes. That's short episode. Each episode is about 10 to 15 minutes. There are about 5 exercises. 5 very simple, very practical exercises which are based on the principles of mindfulness and kindness. Now, kindness, they are very, very useful. As I say, I won't be teaching the skills over here. I give you an overview. Okay, so the first exercise taught in the program is called kindful body stretching. Kindful body stretching is very useful if you have a lot of body aches, muscular tension, body aches. Kindful body stretching is very, very useful. The next exercise is called kindful breathing. Kindful breathing very helpful to calm the mind. Kindful body stretching help to relax the body. Kindful breathing is help to calm the mind. And the third exercise is called butterfly hug. Butterfly hug is very useful to overcome fears and worries. So you have a lot of fear, a lot of worry. If you are the kanchong type, you like to worry a lot, then the butterfly is very useful. The fourth exercise is called kindful healing hand. Okay, kindful healing hand is very good for people with psychosomatic pain. Psychosomatic pains means a lot of bodily pain, discomfort, disease, which is due to stress. So kindful hand is a very, very useful exercise for that. And the last one is called kindful. It's called the kindful body scan. That is very good to help us with sleep. So I strongly suggest, if you have not attended my kindfulness program, please get the QR code, scan it, and when you're free, learn this kindfulness method to help you to overcome stress. Very, very important. I practice all this method every day. I don't think I can survive if I don't practice any of this exercise. I work in a psychiatric clinic. In the psychiatric clinic, it's very, very busy. It's very, very stressful. I need all these exercises to help me to relax, help me to refresh, to help me to be more resilient in overcoming the challenges and difficulty in life. Okay, so far so good. So far I shared 2 methods. The first method to cultivate equanimity is to overcome the hindrances, overcome anger, ill will, overcome jealousy, overcome greed, overcome restlessness, fear, worries, overcome those negative emotions, then we develop calmness of mind. Second way is to learn to manage stress using kindfulness method, and you can go to the YouTube series of talks, workshops, very practical method. This is one of the coping statement, the mantra that I remind myself to help me to cultivate equanimity. I would like to share this with you. When the present moment is unpleasant, be kindful. When the present moment is pleasant, be grateful. I repeat that, I will explain that. When the present moment is unpleasant, be kindful. When the present moment is pleasant, be grateful. Okay. In other words, it's saying when there are challenges in life, we need to treat ourselves kindly with these exercises. So I'm making the talk and the sharing practical. So equanimity is action. When the present moment is unpleasant, be kind to ourselves by doing these kindness-based exercises. So equanimity is not just do nothing, Equanimity can be an active process. So when the present moment is unpleasant, be kindful. Treat ourselves kindly. When the present moment is pleasant, be grateful. So again, I would like to highlight, being equanimous doesn't mean that we don't have feelings, That is a wrong perception. Some people think that equanimous means no feeling. It's not no feeling. Equanimity is calm. Equanimity also, an equanimous person can also have positive emotion. Being kindful is a positive emotion. Being grateful is also a positive emotion. So when things are good, we learn to be grateful. That's a positive emotion. When things are unpleasant, there are challenges, difficulty, we learn to be kindful. That's also a positive emotion. So equanimity is not no feeling. It's not no feeling. Equanimity is a positive emotion. And this positive emotion also has other friends, gratitude, kindfulness, they are all positive emotion. So the way I look at equanimity is I perceive it as an emotion, as a positive emotion. Okay, the third method is to reflect on karma. This one, quite straightforward, but very practical. Reflect on karma. Karma means action. Karma means action. When we say reflect on karma in the context of equanimity, means we remind ourselves to focus on what we can do. Because karma is action, is doing. Focus on what we can do. For example, we are all facing the pandemic. So a lot of people, they just worry about all the pandemic. So instead of worrying, it's important to ask ourselves, what can we do? So this is a very common advice that I give in clinic. I see a lot of patients with anxiety, people with a lot of fear, a lot of worries, think a lot. And one of the advice I give them is focus. Focus on what you can do. Focusing on what we can do is following the principle of karma, because karma is action. Focus on what we can do. Whatever is not within our control, don't waste time thinking about it. So for COVID, so how do we prevent COVID infection? What can we do? Of course, we can go for our vaccination. Of course, we can wear masks. Of course, we can practice physical distancing. So focus on all this that we can do. A lot of things which are not within our control, we learn to let go. The same goes for all the problems in life, whether it's a pandemic, or whether you're facing examination, or you're having job stress, or you're having certain health condition, you fear or relapse. Always focus on what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? So this is a very good antidote for a sense of helplessness. Helplessness, you don't know what to do. Focus on karma, focus on what we can do. So this is again one of my mantras, one of my coping statement based on karma. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? So I may do some, I may chant Namo Tassa, I may do some breathing. After I calm my mind, I'll ask, what can I do? What can I do? Okay. The next one related to karma. So the first way of reflecting on karma is to ask ourselves, what can we do? Focus on what can we do. The second way to reflect on karma is to remind ourselves that all of us have our own karma. This is very important if you are involved in any helping profession. So I'm in a helping profession. Being a doctor is helping profession. I help people. But not necessarily you have to be in a helping profession to be helping people. So in the BGF community, you're helping people. In your family member, you've got wife, you've got husband, you've got children, you've got mom, dad, you're also helping people. This is very important if you are involved in helping people. Okay, so in my clinic, I help lots of patients. I try my best. If you ask me, am I able to help all my patients? Do all my patients recover? My answer will be no. Okay, but I'm grateful that I'm able to help a lot of patients. I'm able to help a lot of people. I find a lot of satisfaction in my work. But the truth is, I won't be able to cure everyone. I won't be able to help everyone. So I have this mantra of coping statement, which is based on equanimity. So I would like to share with you. I find this very, very useful. Okay. So the statement based on equanimity are, I care for you, but I can't guarantee a cure. I care for you, but I can't make choices for you. I care for you, but you have your own karma. So it is something that I reflect again and again when I'm in the hospital, in my clinic. Of course, I will try my best. I will try. So I say, I care for you, but I can't guarantee a cure. I can care. I can use my best knowledge, best skill, best experience to care, but I cannot guarantee a cure, because in order for a cure to be there, there need to be a lot of causes and conditions. So this is a Buddhist understanding. Of course, I play my part as a doctor. But for a patient to recover, you need a lot more of causes and conditions. You need supportive family member. You need to have a proper understanding of the illness. You need to be willing to take medication. You need to be willing to go for therapy. There's so many other factors. Even if I explain the best treatment plan, again, I cannot make choices for you. This is what I mean. I care for you, but I can't make choices for you. And even I try our best, patients try our best, some will recover very fast, some don't recover that fast. Again, that is also based on one of the reasons is because of karma. So I find this very, very useful. I would like to share with you. So it's based on Upekkha, which is part of the 4 Brahma Viharas. Remember earlier I mentioned Upekkha is part of the 4 Brahma Viharas. Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekkha. Friendliness, compassion, appreciative joy, and equanimity. So very important, if you want to help people, you want to care for people, you got to remind ourselves. This is a book that I wrote about 20 years ago when I was a medical student. So now as I reflect back, even when I was a student, a medical student, I was already inspired by the Buddhist teachings of the 4 Brahma Viharas. So I composed these 4 lines based on the 4 Brahma Viharas. Okay, so I call it the 4 therapeutic thoughts for prescription. The first one, may you be well. And this one is recommended for medical students, but it applies to anyone who is involved in doing service and helping people. So the first one, may you be well. That is based on friendliness. May you get well soon. May you get well soon, or may you free from suffering, free from pain. May you get well soon, based on compassion. Great to see you well. Congratulations, you're better, you recover. Great to see you well. That is based on appreciative joy, mudita. Okay, and the last one is in case you're not getting well, I see, that's equanimity. So that is equanimity. Yes, I tried my best already. Not everyone can be cured. Not everyone can be helped. Not everyone can be kept. It's a very interesting cartoon, Department of Indifference. So what? I would like to highlight here in this slide, I would like to highlight that equanimity is not the same as indifference or apathy. You heard of word indifference or apathy. Equanimity is not indifferent. Equanimity is not apathy. Indifferent apathy is don't care. Don't care. Equanimity is we care wisely. Care with understanding of the Dhamma. We care wisely. So we have got to be very careful. In fact, in certain books, Dhamma books, when they talk about equanimity, they talk about this near enemy of equanimity and the far enemy of equanimity. Near enemies of equanimity is easier to recognize. Anger and attachment. Anger and attachment, they are the near enemies of equanimity. Actually, easier to identify. A lot of anger, we can recognize anger. Whether you can overcome the anger is a different issue, but it's much easier to recognize anger or recognize attachment to family members. Okay. But sometimes the far enemy, a bit far one, not so easy to recognize. The far enemy equanimity is indifference. You don't care. So you got to be careful. Okay, the next one. This is called mindful breathing and Bodhi tree visualization. I also find this very helpful as well. I think many of you are familiar with mindful breathing practice. So as you're doing the breathing in and out, you can add a little bit of affirmation. So as we are breathing in and out, you can say in our heart, breathing in, I see myself as a Bodhi tree. Breathing out, I'm strong and stable. And visualize the Bodhi tree. So you do the mindful breathing meditation as usual. You just add the affirmation. Breathing in, I see myself as a Bodhi tree. Breathing out, I'm strong and stable. And for me personally, I like to do the mindful breathing with the Qigong style. So when I do mindful breathing, I do it like a Qigong style. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Not sure whether you can see. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, in, breathe out. This way of breathing is very relaxing, and I also add in the visualization as well. So I visualize I'm a Bodhi tree. This is particularly useful if when you're doing your morning walk, get a real tree. I suggest you get a real tree, especially those who stay around previous Mahavira. Now Mahavira is open already. So you can go under the Bodhi tree. Find a real Bodhi tree. You're under the Bodhi tree. You do the mindful breathing, the Qigong style this way. With the actual tree. No need to visualize. The actual Bodhi tree is there. Breathe in, breathe out. And say in the heart, breathing in, I see myself as the Bodhi tree. Breathing out, I'm strong and stable. So with this affirmation, this visualization, it helps to calm us. We can also, as we are doing this, we can also recollect the virtues of the triple gem. Okay, recollect, think of the Buddha, think of the Dhamma, think of Sangha. That also helps to cultivate equanimity as well. So one of the ways I do it, I will actually recite the name of my favorite suttas. So what is our favorite sutta? I have all the words have our favorite sutta. So some of the favorite sutta that I like is Metta Sutta. One of my favorite sutta is the Metta Sutta, Mangala Sutta, Satipatthana Sutta. So one of the ways is, as I'm doing the reading, I recollect. I just recite the name, Metta Sutta, Mangala Sutta, Satipatthana Sutta. So as I have a strong confidence in the Triple Gem, that recitation, the breathing, the recitation itself, will bring out the feeling of equanimity. So you can try this. Okay. Number 5 method is to remind ourselves none is free from blame. The Buddha mentioned this in Dhammapada verse 227 and 228. Dhammapada 227 and 228, the Buddha actually mentioned this. Let me read to you. The theme is none is free from blame. Ancient is this situation, O Atula, It's not just true today. People criticize one sitting silently, they criticize one speaking much, and they criticize one speaking moderately. There is no one in the world who is not being criticized. So the Buddha was actually giving some advice to this man by the name Atula. To give you a brief version of the story, it's a very interesting story to remind us that none is free from blame. In this world, nobody is free from blame. Even the Buddha wasn't free from blame. Yeah. So at that time, there was this person by the name of Abdullah with 500 disciples. So they wanted to learn the Dhamma. So they went to the various disciples of the Buddha, and they were not happy. So one gave a very detailed explanation. They say, so long-winded, too detailed. One give a very moderate level of explanation. They say not enough. Another one didn't say much. They also complained. This monk also didn't talk much. So it doesn't matter whether they give a lengthy explanation or they keep quiet or they give a moderate level explanation. They were not happy as well. So basically, in this Dhammapada verse, the Buddha is advising us is nobody is free from blame. Even the Buddha wasn't free from blame. The Arhat wasn't free of blame, and in my life as well. Similarly, I reflect on this as well. Again, as I mentioned, I'm a doctor, I'm a psychiatrist. I truly cherish this advice from the Buddha. In my clinic, I always try to help my patient. And over here, I've been in this field for more than 20 years. I get a lot of satisfaction. I always give my best to help my patient. And I'm glad a lot of people actually got better. Okay. Does that mean that I don't get complaints? No. There are also people who also complain about my service as well. Yeah. Okay. Sometimes you get a little bit disappointed that you're trying your best to help people, and then people will complain. But as I reflect on this Dhammapada verse, that I feel calmer. I regain my composure. I regain my equanimity. So I think even the Buddha was blamed as well. Even the Arhats also were blamed as well. Even there are a lot of monks and nuns also be blamed. So that is the nature of the world. Nobody is free from blame. Okay, number 6 is reflect on imperfection or unsatisfactoriness, or more specifically, is reflect on the cause of unsatisfactoriness. The Buddha say in the Four Noble Truths, the cause of unsatisfactoriness is because of craving. Craving is a Buddhist term. In simple language, craving means complaining, criticizing, condemning, finding fault with life. So in order to be equanimous, we got to learn. We need to learn to be grateful, learn to be contented. Always remind ourselves it's good enough, good enough, good enough. Instead of finding fault, criticize, condemn, complain, we always remind ourselves it's good enough, good enough. And we always remind ourselves it could have been worse. That is opposite of craving. Craving is wanting more. Craving is finding fault. Everything is not good enough. Everything also have to criticize, condemn, complain. Like that, very difficult to be equanimous. Always have this mindset. Remind ourselves, good enough. It could have been worse. Not that bad. Be grateful. Be contented. I got 2 very nice cartoons to share with you. These cartoons come from, there's a cartoonist by the name Phang. So very good way to remind ourselves. This one, it says, breathe. It's only a bad day, not a bad life. So in case some of you have a bad day today, it's important to remind ourselves, yes, this might be a bad day, but it's not a bad life. There's a difference between a bad day and a bad life, because if we think we're having a bad life, we're actually amplifying the dukkha. It could be just a bad day, don't amplify it. That's another way of cultivating gratitude and contentment. It could have been worse. Be grateful, contented. Well, today may be a bad day, but it's not a bad life. Only today is not so good. But maybe tomorrow will be better. Now one related is also from the same cartoonist. I say, every day may not be good. Every day may not be good, but there is something good in every day. Very nice saying, isn't it? Every day may not be good. Of course, cannot every day also good. But I'm sure if you reflect, if you recollect, there's always something good in the day. So I really like this cartoons, So I repeat again, the first one, breathe is only a bad day. It's not a bad life. If today is a bad day, it's only a bad day. It's not a bad life. Even if today is a bad day, every day may not be a good day. Today might be a bad day, but there is something always good. So we learn to count our blessings. There's always something good. We just need to learn to recollect. Hey, the next method is reflect on the impermanence, anicca. Basically, to remind ourselves that everything is impermanent. The coping statement or the mantra that I use a lot is called "This shall also pass." This shall also pass. There's actually a story about a man who actually inherited a ring. A man who inherited a ring from his father, and the ring has this saying, "This shall also pass," to remind him on impermanence. And with this inheritance, this man was very successful. Of course, just like us, he went through a lot of ups and downs in life, a lot of challenges. But because of this message, this shall also pass. So whenever he goes through any difficulty, he remarks, this shall also pass. So he's able to be equanimous. So his EQ level is good. He's able to be very successful. On the other hand, he actually has a brother. His brother didn't inherit this ring. The brother actually inherited a lot of money, a lot of property from the father. He didn't do very well because he didn't have this message. Actually, the father was actually purposely penned this out. The father knew actually this is a good son. The other son was a very wicked son. So he scared the big brother will bully this brother. So he purposely, the father actually gave this ring to him, to the good son. So I think it's also very important that we remind ourselves, this shall also pass, this shall also do, this shall reflect on impermanence. Okay, this is on impermanence. This is what this is saying from Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh. Okay, it says suffering is impermanent, and that's why we can transform it. Usually, when we talk impermanent, some of us will have a very negative perception. I used to have a very negative perception on impermanence. Oh, things going to change. All the good things are going to be over already. I cannot enjoy the good thing. So later I realized that there's a positive way of understanding impermanent. There's a negative way of understanding impermanent. So this is a more positive way. Okay, it's because of impermanent, challenges can go away. It's because of impermanence, pandemic can end. So that can be interpreted in a positive way. Isn't it? We need to nourish it. So when good things happen, we also need to understand, need to remind ourselves impermanent. Okay. For example, earlier I showed a picture of my mother. I cherish my mother. But my mother is old, one day she will pass away. But instead of worrying when she's going to pass away, worry why she will pass away, I should cherish. I'm still with my mother. I can spend time having dinner with her, visit her. I should cherish the moment. So this is a more positive way of interpreting impermanence. Related to impermanence, we remind ourselves that all of us can die. So this is found in Dhammapada verse 6. So reflecting on death. Again, reflecting on death, we have to reflect in a positive way. It can be reflected in a negative way. It can be reflected in a positive way. You reflect in the positive way is all of us one day will die. So if one day we can die, sometimes we are not so calculative. We're able to let go anger, let go grudge more easily. Okay, this is the last one. Okay, last point. After that, we're open for Q&A. The last point is reflect on Buddha nature. Or the Pali word is called bodhicitta, Buddha nature. Reflect on Buddha nature means Buddha nature is a concept in Buddhism which says that all of us have the potential to become a Buddha. All of us have the potential to become a Buddha. Okay, expanding on that concept is that everything that is goodness. So all the challenges in life, all the difficulties, there's always something good from it. There's always a lesson. That's the whole idea. So everything, there's always something we can learn. So the way for me to remind myself of this principle of everything, there's something good, there's something I learn. I like to listen to this song. There is this very nice song called "Will You Teach Me?" Will you teach me? So I want to listen to this song. I suggest that it can be found on YouTube. You just type "Will You Teach Me?" It's a very nice song to remind ourselves that no matter what happens in life, any challenges, any difficulties, there's always something we can learn. Doesn't matter whether it's a pandemic, whether it's a family problem, whether it's a study problem, work problem, there's always something we can learn. There's something we can gain. That is the meaning of reflecting on Buddha nature. Then if we can reflect in that way, we don't hate or don't dislike our challenges so much because we can learn something from it. And okay, so it is, I will skip this. Okay, so let me do a summary. So in total, I will share with you 8 ways to improve our level of equanimity, the ability to remain calm, composed, and still amidst the challenging situation in life. So I will summarize to you in case you miss out on the points. So these are okay. So the first method is to learn to overcome the 5 hindrances. The 5 hindrances are the negative emotion, negative states of mind that affect the peace of mind. So the action plan, every principle there's an action plan. Action plan is try to recall all the talks you listen, all the talks by the various speakers in the Buddhism and psychology series. So many of the talks, the content of the talk, they are the antidote to the 5 hindrances. If we can overcome the 5 hindrances, for example, anger, evil, jealousy, that helps to still the mind. The second way to cultivate equanimity is to learn to overcome stress. If we learn to overcome stress, then we become more emotional resilient to deal with the challenges in life. You're very stressed out, everything also find it very difficult. But if you're relaxed, you're calm, you're peaceful, you can overcome the challenges easily. And the ways to do that is, I suggest the kindfulness method. So you go to the Mindful Gym YouTube channel. So I compiled a list of 5 kindfulness-based exercises to help you deal with stress. The third method is to reflect on karma. Okay, under karma, there are 2 ways. So far is focus on what we can do. Let go of what not within our control. Focus on what we can do. Karma is action. What can we do? Focus on what we can do. Things not within our control, we learn to let go. The second point under the reflect on karma is to constantly remind ourselves when we are helping somebody to recite the phrase, I care for you, but I can't always cure. I care for you, but I can't make choices for you. I care for you, but you have your own karma. So that is a way to help us to be equanimous when we are helping somebody. So that's under reflect on karma. Then the fourth one is the mindful breathing. Mindful breathing with the Bodhi tree visualization. As you're doing your breathing in and breathing out, you recite in the heart, breathing in, I see myself as the Bodhi tree. Breathing out, I'm strong and stable. Strongly suggest that you go to the Buddhist temple or find a tree, find a real tree, and do the mindful breathing under the tree. Then the visualization becomes stronger. And together with the breathing and visualization, we can also recollect the triple gem. Think of the Buddha, think of the Dhamma, think of the Sangha. That gives us the inspiration to remain calm and composed in life. Number 5 is reflect that none is free from blame. So if got people blame you in life, you feel you're upset. To remind ourselves, even the Buddha also got people blame. The Arahats during the Buddha's time also got people blame. And there are a lot of good monks and good nuns who are with us. Also got people blame them as well. So we cannot make everyone happy. Number 6 is to reflect on the imperfection. So keep on remind ourselves, it's good enough. Don't find fault, don't criticize, don't condemn, don't complain. Always remind ourselves, it's good enough. It could have been worse. Be grateful, be contented. Number 7, remind ourselves, this will also pass. No matter how challenging life can be, any unpleasant moment, remind ourselves, this will also pass. Pandemic will pass. That is for a challenging situation. For the good moments, we learn to cherish, we learn to be grateful, and we cherish those good moments. Okay? And the last one is to reflect on the Buddha nature. Buddha nature means that no matter what happens in our life, there's always something good. There's something that we learn from that.